Welcome back, folks, to another episode of Flix Friyay, and this week we are taking a look at Season 2 of The Umbrella Academy, a Netflix original series based off of the comic books by My Chemical Romance frontman, Gerard Way. Before we hop into it, go ahead, do me a favor, smack that like button, hit subscribe, and ding the notification bell so you can be notified right as my videos are uploaded. Now, let's get into it. Starting with the pros, we're going to kick it off with the characters. The characters are really good in this season. There's the commission characters, there's the Umbrella Academy members, and you do actually get to see Sir Reginald Hargreaves, the founder of the Umbrella Academy, which is really cool, and they show that in the trailer, so it's not a spoiler. But so the characters are all really good. Obviously, the Umbrella Academy, those members are the star of the show, but you also have the commission. You have, I believe his name's AJ Carmichael, the fish in the bowl on top of the human body. Really like just like the style of that character. There's also Herb, which is hilarious. He's just awesome. And then there's also the Swedes. And the Swedes are really, really good. I really like the Swedes. Anytime they were on the screen, they caught my attention. And I really liked them. They were cool. There's also some great storytelling here. It's very impactful. It has some emotional elements to it, especially concerning Ben. There's definitely an emotional scene with him, I'd say. And that's probably the one that really stuck out to me, and I remembered after the season was over. There's also a lot of funny parts, obviously, with Klaus and Ben as well, since he can see Ben because he can, talk to the dead and see the dead, and now he can feel the dead. And they expand on that in this season some more, and that relationship is really fun. And then there's also some really, really great action scenes, great music as well, but great action scenes. Most of them are with Five, I would say. Most of the really great ones. The best two, I think, are one action scene at the beginning, which is very short, and then there's another action scene towards the middle latter half of the season, and it involves Five and the commission. I'm just going to say that. I'm not going to spoil anything, but that is a standout action scene in this series. Also, the cinematography is really awesome. I found the cinematography reminded me a little bit of Kick-Ass, if you remember that movie. If you like the first Kick-Ass movie, you'll probably appreciate some of the cinematography in this series. I think it has a similar tone with that because they are both based off of comic books, and it seems like anything based off of a comic book, it kind of feels like you have to have creative cinematography in it just to add in some style that you would get in the comic book with the drawings and that sort of thing. Another pro for me is they don't ignore the butterfly effect in this show. That is a pet peeve of mine whenever they introduce time travel into a movie or a TV series, is a lot of them will just ignore butterfly effect and just ignore the fact that, well, these characters have been here. They've been messing around with people, with things. They've changed the course of history in some way, shape, or form just from interacting with this world in this time period. So in this show, they obviously Five can hop between time periods. The Umbrella Academy characters being in the 1960s/70s, I guess. I think it's from like 62 or 64 to 69, I believe, is the range that it goes in terms of the main setting of the show. But they don't ignore the butterfly effect. They take into account that, hey, there's a lot of stuff that could cause this new doomsday that they brought back with them, because some of them have been here for years. There's a couple that have only been for months, but even they've interacted with the world. So they could have done something or interacted with someone that then changed the course of history and caused the doomsday. So that was really good. It definitely made the story, it made you kind of double guess yourself on what could be the cause of this new doomsday. Sadly, going into the cons, one of the cons is that your first thought about what causes doomsday, probably right. They decide to go with what I think was the most obvious choice. I'm not going to say too much about it. I don't want to spoil it, but they they had the butterfly effect thing going where they could have done something really cool with it, been like, oh, number one ran into this person, and because of that, it had like a domino effect sort of thing. But instead, they just kind of went with the easy choice here, and it wasn't terrible, but it definitely wasn't a satisfying conclusion to the mystery of what caused the doomsday, because again, it was your first choice. Also, Diego is probably the weakest Umbrella Academy member in this season, and that's a real bummer because I like his power of the throwing knives. He's kind of Batman-esque, and they even say that in the show, but he gets so stuck on the idea that he's on this mission and he has to do this mission. So like every time the plot progresses, he's still stuck back here about his damn mission, and as a viewer, we don't care. We want to move forward. Like, listen, if the mission was tied with the plot, then okay, but it's always like jumps, it's always kind of, well, that's a bit of a stretch. We don't know that for sure, so how do you know that? You don't. You just want to do your mission. And I get that's how his character is, but it does come off as super annoying whenever he brings it up and whenever he's so stubborn that it puts everything else at risk, because he does constantly put other people and even the fate of the world at risk because of the mission. So I found that pretty annoying. That's definitely a con for me. Probably one of my bigger cons in this season. Another con is cliffhangers. Now, I forgot a pro. The pro that kind of goes with this a little bit is that there are some really good twists in this season. There's a couple really big twists. I'd say three really big twists. So that's a pro. I like that there's twists in the season. The con side of that is that the season finale feels, I don't want to say half-baked. I want to say maybe underwhelming, because it feels like nothing's really settled. Like, if that makes sense. It feels like this season was kind of a bridge between season 1 and season 3. Season 1 setting up the characters, this having a lot of stuff happen, a lot of twists along the way, and then season 3 hopefully resolving some of those twists and digging deeper into this Umbrella Academy world. With that being said, it does worry me a little bit because season 1, now I guess I don't really remember season 1 all that well, but based off of how this season starts, I feel like season 1 was also a cliffhanger, albeit not as big or underwhelming of a cliffhanger. But with season 1 and 2 being cliffhangers and season 2 being a big one, it does worry me that they might try to milk the series and just keep having these big cliffhanger endings and never really resolving some of these twists, because that's what TV shows do. And I much more prefer it when a TV show, I get it, they gotta dangle that carrot in front of the audience to get people to come back the next season, but I much prefer it when you set it up in a way where there is still that carrot, you do still want to see a next season, but if for whatever reason, they don't get the budget that they need, or maybe they blow their budget or something, and the next season doesn't end up getting made, you can still watch up to a certain point in the series and have a good stopping point. All in all, I think that season 2 of The Umbrella Academy is still really strong, and it's a great addition to an already great series. I hope that they can keep it up for season 3. I'm going to give season 2 of The Umbrella Academy an 8 out of 10. That is a first edition Playboy magazine in my rating scale. And really, if you have a Netflix subscription, go out, watch this show. It's really good. If you have a Netflix subscription and you're not at least giving The Umbrella Academy a chance, you're not at least watching the first episode or 2 of the series, then you really are doing yourselves a disservice. It's a really good show, definitely top tier of the Netflix originals in my opinion. With all that being said, go ahead, do me a big favor, smack that like button, hit subscribe, ding the notification bell so you can be notified right when these videos are uploaded, and I'll see you guys on next week's episode of Flix Friyay.